Yes, sir.
NV Quick Pong. All right, so welcome to today's DNN MVP meeting for the month of September 2018. I think we may have a couple people here that weren't here last month, but I am going to do just some quick updates and talk about some events, and then I'll turn it over to our EAG leaders, which is anybody seen Will Stroll? So start stalking him. Yeah, the slide is blank. I hadn't clicked yet. So that was the welcome. So some updates. If you're keeping up with the DNN Prime offering, which is, Andy's buying a lot of companies and putting them into the portfolio. He added a company, which is Fog Creek Software, and one of their softwares is Manuscript. So I had pulled Manuscript up, or at least this Fog Creek software. And I think there's some people in the DNN ecosystem that are already using some of their software. So my understanding is that Fog Creek software has been around for a long time. This is very similar to Jira, I'm told. I mean, I haven't used it, but it's like a software development tool. So if you're into the Prime offering, this company got added. Might want to check that out. So we've got a 9.2.2 release candidate, which is available. Mitchell, I don't want to step on your toes with any of your updates, but just want to put the message out for people to download this, test it, kick the tires. It's been out for a while. You can see it's been 22 days. But as MVPs, we should be, testing and helping out and contributing where we can. So just want to make sure that everybody's aware that.
Yep. And the only thing just want to add real quick with that is this will become the real release most likely Monday.
All right. So that means hurry up and test it if you. Appreciate that update, Mitchell. All right, so David Poindexter, I'll let him chime in here if he wants to, but he has released something. This was just a couple hours ago, where he published a blog on DNN software about NV Quick Pulse, which apparently has already played on my screen, but this is some of the UI. It's a mobile app. David, do you want to talk through this? Apparently not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can talk through it. Basically, this is kind of an app to allow you to discover and explore all the open source goodness in the DNN community. So essentially every project that's out there in the GitHub sphere for DNN related projects are on here, and gives you an interface that's a little bit better than trying to go and do searches on GitHub itself, but just helps you discover. But also importantly is that you can see some stats here that are not as easily retrieved or retrieved at all, honestly, from the GitHub UI. So this is really just a starting point, and the project itself is open source. So love to make this project even better moving forward. So take a look at it, see what you think about the stats and things like that. And if there's ideas that you have, or there are ideas that you have, please put an issue out there on the GitHub repo and let us know. Love to make it better. And I also mentioned that, I mentioned this in the blog post, but we also have internationalization built into the mobile app. So anybody that doesn't really want to get their hands dirty in code or anything like that can definitely help in the area of translations on this. Let's just turn this into a great community project and get some nice stats going and all that.
Nice project, man.
Awesome. Yeah. So Matt Rutledge going through there, and Chris Hammond too, unfortunately. All right. So DNN Digest goes out tomorrow. I'm sure you are all eagerly awaiting that. And also DNN Website Awards. So this thing is completely community driven, right? So if you go to dnnawards.com, the team at Foremost Media has put this together. The website's really neat. And this is all about, as he says, or as they say, celebrating the best design and developed DNN websites in the world. So John Ballard from Foremost Media is a member of the awareness group that Stroll runs, and this is one of the things that has come out of that group. And so, you know, they got different categories, and I think you can view the submission, view the entries. Every entry that happens, they are updating Facebook, you know, with links and stuff like that. So it's all based on like how many votes you get, and I don't know if they have awards or if it's just, you know, recognition. But one thing that we're already seeing is that there are some nice sites that have been submitted that aren't in the community showcase. So we'll try to, you know, follow up on that and get some of these people listed in the showcase. But nevertheless, you know, if you have good looking websites, be sure to submit them. And so again, it's great to see the community seeing opportunities and gaps and ways to jump in and make things happen. And that's exactly what is going on here. So be sure you check that out. Go ahead.
It's interesting because we did something similar for DNN Connect last year, where we also had, you know, like the DNN championships, we called it.
Yeah.
So technically saying that it's the first, I might have an issue with it. But are they planning to do the celebration at the DNN Summit or not?
I don't know. I have not heard that. Entry submit, like, it stops on October 31st. Voting ends November 23rd. And they say,
no, it's okay. It's December 3rd. It'd be nice to, I don't know, just throwing that out there as an idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Like, we should tell them, like, hey, don't announce until Summit, you know?
Yeah, do it as a run up to Summit. I thought it was a nice thing to do anyway. I don't know how the Summit people.
At the very least, I think that if they don't want to hold it and they want to have a presentation before that, for Southern Pride in, let's see, they're announcing December 3rd. That would miss what we normally do in December. In January, we could showcase some of those sites and kind of talk about this. And in our upcoming one here next week, we can make sure to mention this as well. We could reserve a space for it in Summit. But then the other thing I was going to say was, you know, where are they promoting this right now? Where are they kind of talking about this? Anywhere else we can try and help get the word out?
So, yeah, I mean, I think John and the team are looking to the awareness group and us to assist with that. So, for example, on the DNN software community blog, we posted it. We've been heavily promoting it on Facebook. So you can see there's a blog there. Also, if you go to the discussion, like the forums, and I think it's also on the Q&A, but we got banners. So like I'm rotating banners right now between the awards and DNN Summit. So those are two areas we are. Adderson, feel free to give shout outs in any of your
just one more thing about this is that what we did at the event was we printed out each participant as an A2 poster, and we pasted one wall full of those posters so people could just walk past during the event and kind of see all the entries. And I think it provides a nice opportunity to just give a shout out to basically anyone, but you know, most certainly all the open source modules out there. Go like, hey, you know, you get an A2 poster, present your stuff, and have that at the event on a wall.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you know, we're open, and awareness group and everybody's open to, you know, feedback and updating this. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have ideas or whatever, I mean, I think that's a good idea, Peter, to, you know, announce this at, maybe they could announce like the finalist on December 3rd and announce the winner.
or they just do the celebration of it. I mean, you don't need to necessarily do the drum roll and like, oh, it's this and this person, but at least, you know, bring them out on stage, give them an attaboy and whatnot.
Yeah. So I think Will Stroll may have joined. Will,
and we got a prize from one of our sponsors for it. So that is something you might be able to elicit from a sponsor as well. And say, okay, would you sponsor a prize for the winner of this thing? And then they get that prize during the event.
That was a very nice touch too. It was real nice.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, those are all good ideas. I think we should definitely consider those. So maybe reach out to John and the team and try to get some of that incorporated here. All right, so let's see. All right, so I've got a bullet here. The DNN store environment has been updated. Ash, do you want to provide some insight on that?
Yeah, guys, I think as part of the infrastructure migration for everything on demand for DNN, the DNN store website has gone through an infrastructure change. Is running in an ESW infrastructure now. But the DNN software will be going there as well. We've had some hiccups. I do believe everything on the store has been resolved now. We've had some DNS which didn't get updated because people didn't know that there were multiple DNSs there. That site had been around for so long and wasn't any kind of a documentation internally to see what's what. David, what's not resolved? I think the only thing that's not resolved now is the full HTTPS. That's the only thing to my knowledge. The credit card processing is back there, and that was unrelated to the infrastructure update. We had issue with the provider for the credit card. So that has been resolved as of this morning, I think about 6 hours ago. So we are earlier for a period of about 3-4 days, we were only able to take PayPal as the payment option. Now we can do full, just about anything, all the credit card and the PayPal. So the only outstanding issue is the HTTPS all across the site. And that was on purpose, kind of hidden or disabled. There's some web config setting to say, don't do HTTP on the main page. And I don't know why that's been there for so long. So we're kind of going through that and making sure it's going to be HTTPS. At the same time, the DNN software, we actually have a test site right now testing that. And as soon as testing is all completed, we are going to use that. And that will be all HTTPS as well. I know Ernst Peter has been asking for it for so long, so it will be HTTPS too. But as soon as the site is ready for testing, I'm going to share the URL in the Slack channel for you guys to kind of kick it around a little bit and give us some feedback.
And what Slack, Ash?
I'll put it in all the Slacks.
Okay, and we can put it in the MVP forum too.
Yeah. Because that is going to be more problem, because that is the one that generates more data and it's got more eyeballs, the forums and whatnot. So the wiki, there are so many things, images and whatnot. I think the likelihood of things, broken links, is higher there. So just bear with us.
Hey Ash, just a question. How is the decision really made to do this migration? One, without telling anybody. Two, being right in the middle of the business day and the most busiest time of the week and the day. Just curious how this happened this way.
Yeah, so there's a good question. That's a little bit beyond me. I think there are different people involved. I don't do these migrations, so they're done by our SaaS ops, and there are multiple people involved, different time zone. Unfortunately, that was the only time we wanted to do as soon as possible as well, because if you wait for the right time, you lose a day, another day. So the actual.
Were there communications that were sent out related?
No, there were no. I don't think Clint was there any. We talked about it, but I think we said we're gonna put. We are in a maintenance mode, and we're gonna watch Twitter and respond to people when they have any questions. Right, Clint? Do you remember?
If we're able to help mention it to people or answer questions when we inevitably get asked questions. It kind of helps us do our volunteer part of being able to promote or tell people what's going on if we know ahead of time. But two, since it was just down, backup page, alternate location that just says a message, something might have been helpful there, and they're not terribly difficult to put in place.
No, yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, I think we've been talking about that in our technology advisory group, but certainly not to the bigger group.
So Ash, I think there's a bigger problem here about like process. I think, the people that are stakeholders for the store is like all of us. And I think, a minimum, like, the partner group, the technology group, the MVP group, we should all be notified before this happens. And there should be something on the website that says at this time and day, we're going to be migrating. We can't have this happen again.
Yeah, the fallout from this has been substantial. So that's why I'm asking. So I had no clue what was happening. I may have missed some things, but I'm just curious as to how it could have possibly thought it was a good idea to do it this way.
Yeah, if we don't have proactive communications, all this does, from awareness perspective, is just make us all look bad.
Okay, yeah, noted.
All right. Hopefully, one of the positive effects will be that the store will be a little bit faster in the new environment. So that's,
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it faster for you guys? Are you seeing it fast? Everybody starts testing at the same time and then it comes down?
Mhm.
Oh, we did see it faster, but I don't know. I don't know if it's we're doing more sites, so we'll find out.
Public facing, it's faster, but the stuff that I actually do in the store isn't any faster.
Right. Okay.
Is what I've seen today. That like going in and going to like my account and looking at my products and my history, that I'm not seeing as any faster, but the public catalog definitely has been.
Right. Okay.
Sweet. All right. Okay, so upcoming events. We've got a Southern Fried DNN meeting next Thursday, September 20th, where Ryan Moore is going to speak on structured content. He's going to do some compare and contrast. Ryan, you want to say anything about that?
I think the sentence you were starting there is the best intro for it. It's going to be a compare and contrast of structured content with DNN as the center point. So it's going to be an introduction for some to liquid content and how things are done with liquid content, and then as contrast using DNN, but other modules and elements to do the same things. So DNN Sharp's Endpoint API and Xmod Pro to do the same types of information. So we'll talk about structured content.
Sweet. Yeah, appreciate the update, and it will be live streamed online for anybody who wants to join in. We have the TADUG meeting with Mr. Addison Oliveira. Addison, do you want to chime in here?
Nothing to add there. I mean, Kelly will be talking about prompting where things are with that, and what's the state, and give us an update and again prompt a little bit more.
Good deal. Appreciate it. We do have the DNN Summit coming up. I think everybody's aware of that. The call for speakers is open for 2 more days. So we are asking everybody to please submit your session and please help promote that we, need speakers, various types. Mitchell, you look like you want to add something here. You're muted.
Yeah, Zoom is being stupid. Yeah, so speakers for Summit. Is this meeting recorded?
Yeah. Oh, let me check. Yeah, it is being recorded.
Okay, well, just submit your sessions. There's a lot of you that go to the event normally that have not submitted. We will hunt you down. We will ask for your submissions. So please do get things submitted. And to the like one good person in the chat, thank you. We do appreciate it. Which, by the way, yours is being selected, so you're coming. But in all seriousness, though, this group seems to be our largest group of stragglers when it comes to speaker submissions, myself included. But it does make it a lot easier for us to know what's going to happen if we get those submissions in. So please do submit them and try not to run the midnight oil of getting them in tomorrow.
Do you have anything particular that you're looking for? I mean, what I do for DNN Connect these past few years is to try to drive the content a bit more, because like you said, it's very hard to get people to submit.
Yep.
So I will start forming my own kind of global idea. I think we're here in the community, and I think these subjects should be addressed at the event. And then, you'll have some people, that in mind that you're like, okay, well, they could, they should really be talking about this. And,
Yeah, we're starting to go through and do some of that as well. On the call for speakers page, we do have some specific information about, some of the stuff that we're looking for. Really, our audience is a broad audience. So we'll take a little bit of anything. I would say that we do not need marketing sessions at this point. But solving problems, case study examples, this is how you can accomplish this. Anything persona bar related would be great. I'm trying to talk with a couple people in the community that, have done some of the tutorials and, take some of those online webinars and, make that into a quick 60-minute session of here's how you contribute to the persona bar, that kind of thing.
Yeah, how to tweak the existing persona bar.
Yep, exactly.
Obviously, Mitch can speak to it better, but I would say that just looking at the spread of type of sessions we've had over the past several years, we are light on developer-focused or advanced sessions. Often it's introductions to things or talking about general topics, and some deeper dives are always the things that we have less of. So having more of those would be nice.
I just add, if you are a marketing person, though, don't be afraid to submit, because it's always good to have a lot to pick from to get a variety in sessions too. So I know it's a different market for some people.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right. And we do have the weekly DNN tag meetings on Tuesdays from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. All right, I am going to shut up now, and we're going to turn it over to our ecosystem advisory group leaders. And Peter, you have 10 minutes.
Well, first, is this we take it in turns to go first, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my group, I'm going to keep it relatively short. I can probably also better hand off to some people who are here on the call. Because as you may know, the work in the developers group is distributed across various sub-teams, so to speak. So we have a team on documentation, and that way that team is, how shall I say, progressing. Let's say we've had a bit of an hiatus because a couple of key members have been extremely busy with other stuff, but we are currently in the process of finalizing the module that displays the documentation online, and subsequently, and I think we've already opened it up actually for contribution, the actual GitHub repo where the documentation is currently, which is DNN community /DNN docs on GitHub, and we're frantically writing blog posts to explain exactly how to contribute. And I'm not sure if it's already. Do you know, David, if that's already published or not? That blog post.
No, that
All
has
right,
not
okay,
been
so-
published yet.
Okay, so we're still chewing on the blog post to do a long explanation of how to contribute, because there's a couple of things you need to know. Basically, how our metadata system works, so that stuff gets to the right place. Other than that, it's going to be plain old Markdown, and you should be able to edit that fairly easily. For the other teams, so currently, let's have a look. There is work happening in the templates. So that's Matt, who's been very active lately, I believe, on his on those. If I'm correct, Matt, do you want a couple of minutes to say where you are at?
Sure. I'm working on, working on some of the React Common libraries right now, but working on getting another release out with some bug fixes in the next, few days here in September, and then I'm going to be working on transferring some of what I've played with internally to that project, where you can build the modules cross-platform. So you can build it on a Mac or a PC, and it all works. There's a couple project changes, project structure changes to make that happen, but and then I've also got hot reloading. So you can do a template, you make a change to an HTML file or a CS file, automatically rebuilds and reloads the DNN page that you're looking at with the module on it. And so there's no stopping to copy or refresh or rebuild or any of that. It just does it for you, like you're developing a React project.
Yeah.
So
cool stuff. And you are you going to be at the DNN Summit?
Yep. And I'm going to do a talk on Generator. So.
Exactly. So that's for those that will want to get into the details of this. Definitely more to come. Then there is a subgroup working on the core modules. That's Daniel Valadas, who is not, I believe, on this call, but Andrew just left as well. So that leaves me and David that was there, and Ernst Peter that were there on the call. Ernst Peter, would you like to just go over the couple of points that we touched on in that team?
I have to move again. Just give me a sec. Essentially, if we talked about in the core modules, we talked about creating documentation in a standard way. And I think David Poindexter has created a very nice sample with Anthropic using GitHub IO pages, and we'll talk how we can produce a basic setup for all the core modules in there. That's the first thing we talked about. The second one, we are talking about together with Andrew how we can provide automatic mechanisms for building processes. I think the general idea is that it should be able for people, for core modules, to do a local on your machine build of the modules, in addition to a central based build, where it can provide automatic mechanisms in there. Based upon the new announcements in the .NET Foundation, where we have all kinds of facilities to do automatic builds using VSTS, or I think it's called Azure DevOps environment by now. We're also talking about generating automatic release notes using a different type of tools that are available once you get all the pull requests and issues in your GitHub repository. There are tools around that can generate automatically your release notes for that. And I think those were the main items we have been discussing. Did I miss something?
I think that pretty much summed it up. David, did he miss anything?
I think that was it. That was pretty much it.
Oh yeah,
Great job.
oh yeah. Dave, we talked about that's the end thing. David showed us MP Quick Builds, or at least we saw the video before, and we talked about the possibilities to use some of his experience to extend the open extension catalog on dnnconnect.org. And we're about thinking what the main figures is that we should provide in the catalog on dnnconnect.org. Using the access of to the GitHub API. That's about it, I think.
Yeah. Excellent. So anyway, so the core modules project is forging ahead and ensuring that we have solidly built extensions in the future that work on every version of DNN. And lots of progress and little details being made, and definitely leveraging the knowledge of Andrew on continuous integration, etc., and Azure and whatnot. So yeah, I don't have anything else from my team.
All right, appreciate it, Peter. Mr. Stroll, would you like to chime in on the awareness front?
I'm pretty sure Peter didn't use his full 10 minutes and he forced everybody else to do it. So I think he still has time.
You still got 4 minutes.
I'm going to hand it over to Will.
Passing of the buck. Love it. All right. So yeah, we have some exciting updates. So one of the things that my team has, or our team, the awareness team, it's not my team, it's our team. But yeah, so one of our objectives is to recreate the community dashboard, but in a way that's a lot more meaningful. And so Jay has been working tirelessly on this and another objective that we have, and we have that's right, the A team. I like that. Hey, Matt, that's awesome. We are the A team. But yeah, and we love it when a plan comes together. All right, so yeah, so there's a beta version that Jay has that he's going to be getting ready for people to look at. We're going to take a look over first, and then we'll push it out to the rest of the groups and get everybody's feedback on it. Related to that, we also have some traction with the updating the DNN website. So we're about ready to have a plan to where we're going to start pushing some things forward, in terms of requests and whatnot. And so there's an overall document that, again, Jay's been working on that really outlines a lot of things we're going to do. So I think we have just like 1 or 2 meetings and just another look over the document, and then we're going to start again pushing that out to the greater audience. In terms of blogs, we've been having a pretty good push on getting blogs, and we're getting more and more translated ones, so that's awesome. We are killing it with YouTube videos and tutorials, mostly thanks to Adderson. I've also started pushing some out there as well. So you may have noticed a surge in that. The ones that I've been doing, I haven't been too vocal about it, but what I've been doing personally is whenever I respond to a forum post or a question in the DNN website, I respond with a video. Let's see here. New and updated extensions. We got Hotcakes Commerce 3.1 coming up in the next week or so. NV Quick Components has 2 new components in it. NV Quick Pulse is launched. David Poindexter just wrote a blog about that. David, do you want to chime in on that real quick? Let everybody know what that is.
We did that before you got on the call.
All right. Yeah, so we got that. Lucas Buffetakis, I think is how you say his last name. I'm completely aware that I probably butchered it, and I'm sorry, Lucas. But he's working on curriculum with the local university where he lives in Greece. And so he's getting them set up on Windows. Apparently they don't know what Windows is yet, but they do now. So he's moving forward with that. So we got some good stuff that we can probably pull from that once he gets something in place. And then we can try to replicate that in other places. There's no update on the training courses, but the good folks at T-Works are supposed to launch something on, I forget the name of the platform, but I don't know if they got that launched yet, so I don't have an update on that, nor do I have an update on their open source themes. They're supposed to push a bunch out there over the past month. We also have initiatives around the speaker program user group program. Those haven't had much traction in the last month, but we expect to see that change over this next month. And let's see, anything else? What am I missing? And we did some, yeah, that's about it.
That was never 10 minutes.
Will, you're a very popular person. It seems you got a lot of knocking going on in the background there.
Yeah, I wonder who it is. Yeah, so it's not my fault. I can be concise.
Well, we also covered the DNN Awards website and talked about how that stemmed from the awareness group. And
yeah, I saw that when I jumped on, so I didn't mention that.
okay, no worries. All right, so David, it is your turn to update us on the partners / store / anything else you're doing.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, we've been fairly quiet over the last little while, but I think it's getting ready to ramp up quite a bit. We're getting ready to launch a survey that will help us to understand more from all of you guys and the broader community as to what improvements you see that could be made in a store experience or a DNN marketplace experience to try to get some good feedback. I think we all know some of the obvious things, but it'll be good to kind of get some very specific information there. So we're looking to launch that fairly soon with that. And this week's been a little bit of a flurry of activity with the things that are going on with the store. But other than that, I don't really have much update other than we're going to see hopefully some traction on moving towards a better marketplace experience in the future here for the community.
All right, Will, your prediction was correct. David, thanks for the update. Mitchell, we will turn it over to you, sir.
So technology side, 922, it's coming out next week. Use it. Their 922, the good news from a community perspective, it's really the first release that we're controlling everything. We're doing the build, we're doing the release, we're doing the release notes, we're doing the documentation of other things that we need to do. So from that regard, it's looking really good. So going forward, that process should get a little bit better. There's still some communication channel stuff that we're working on. There was a little bit of a scare on Tuesday that we weren't going to be ready to release on Monday, but it looks like we are. We're still trying to coordinate with the SW to make sure that when we do a release of 922, that they're ready to do a release of Evoke 922. The main reason for the concern with that is we don't want to get back into that crazy nightmare that DNN 922 is Evoke version 11.15, that kind of thing. So we just want to make sure that coordination is there. It looks like it's working well. 9.3 is shaping up to actually have some new features for those working in Azure. There's going to be a new extension point for the database connection, which will be kind of nice for those of us using SQL Azure to be able to swap over to use a different kind of connection string. Should actually have some fairly good performance implications, as well as a process that's going to allow us to potentially do geo failover across different geographic zones within Azure a little bit more easily. So that, among other things, are there. There's still time for contributions. There's still time for pull requests. If you see a pull request you like, comment, let us know. That kind of thing is going to be great. And then the 9.3 release is going to be one of the ones that's going to be really important for the community to help us during the release candidate phase to make sure that all is looking good. So with that, really, I don't have much else that hasn't been said at this point. We're moving along. A lot of energy is being spent on a lot of things. we're just moving forward.
Mitchell, I've got a question. The 9.2.2 release, is that going to be the first one that comes out? Obviously 100% community driven, but also that's built using the automated processes?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. Automated processor doing everything for that release. We are still manually pushing the "it went live" button, and we're still doing a couple bits of the actual deploy manuals, like the process of uploading the NuGet packages. That's being done by a manual step. But all of the other automation, release management, branching strategy stuff, that's all there. So it should be nice and consistent going forward.
Awesome. I've got a blog that I'm going to post whenever the release comes out, just talking about some of the ways that we as an open source project are benefiting from the .NET Foundation and the resources that they are providing for us. So just been waiting on that automated release to happen so that we could post it.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions for Mitchell? All right, well, we will go now to the open session. So this is, if anybody's got anything you want to share that will be seen in the public recording, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I did a little bit of work earlier in the month and mentioned to Clint that I'd bring it up and ask if anybody needed to share. If so, I'll post it somewhere. But for some of the work that we're doing for Summit, we needed a vector version of the DNN logo, and it was not possible to find or track down a vector version of the DNN mark or the DNN letters. But similarly, the MVP logo, there was not a vector version of that that was found. So we recreated one, basically tracing, so it's the exact same thing that you'd expect it to be. But if anybody needs a copy of those, I'll be glad to send that out to you. That's question A. Question B is, where should I put those? They're obviously not ours or mine. They're for the community and they're for the organization. You don't exactly put those kinds of things on GitHub. So I was asking around to see if there's an idea of a repository of where we should put that, or
we use Google Drive with some of the teams, so that might be an idea.
Yeah, I would definitely like the logos that you created, because I might use them somewhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ryan, I just want to interject, 'cause I know a lot of times there's like best usage or ways you can use the logo to honor the branding guidelines for the Corp logo and stuff, and even MVP. So, Clint, do you guys have something like that? Because typically, if those are accessible to the public in that form, there's some kind of rules and regulations of how you can use them.
Correct. When we normally put together what I call a logo kit, it is a series of folders with the logos or files at different sizes and different types, and so it's a collection of files. So there are JPEGs and PNGs at a variety of different sizes automatically, and then a PDF that has the instructions. And so the PDF describes, for people who don't know graphics files, what to do with the vector PDF, what to do with the vector EPS file, and the others. And in that PDF, it lists the Pantone colors and a few things. For the DNN logo, it references this style guide and the location of this style guide as the full usage information. For the MVP logo, it just has the specifics or the technical stuff about it.
Yeah, Cassidy, this is the only branding guide I'm aware of, and it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would just say, like, wherever you make that accessible for people to be able to download, you should almost have to like check that they agree branding guidelines or whatnot, so you don't have all this.
I agree completely. Yeah.
So that was my only thought on that.
Yep.
All right. Appreciate that, Ryan. Anybody else got anything for the public session? All right.
I might just jump in. I know we've talked about Summit, but just to reiterate that that's this February. I think it's the third week in February, and DNN Summit board. And so have people put that on their calendars and start thinking about traveling for great information and sessions and to meet people in the community. So, small little plug.
Yep, I appreciate it.
Actually, Cassidy, since you're here and I can ask the question directly, I've been asked about hotel information and if we're going to get rates and information soon, because we're starting to book other kinds of travel things right now.
Yeah, so we just need to get with the website team to get that information up. We have all the rates secured, so we just need to get the code information up there. But if people are antsy to do that, probably can call Embassy Suites with your DNN Summit group. And if they have any problems, reach out to them.
I see. So we already have a block and there's already a rate set for it?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Will do. Thanks.
Gotcha. And Jay just asked a question, when can we register? Jay, we were looking at turning the registration on tomorrow, but I think due to the hurricane, we may be turning that on Monday. I think we're finalizing a couple details. So it should be soon, but it'll be a link from the site. All right, so we will now go to the closed session. I will stop sharing the screen and stop recording. So if you watch online, thanks.